Item A, this is a Zoom meeting and just information in the packet that tells you how to join, just like I did. Item B, we have a roll call and everyone is present today, so there's no one missing. Item C, approval of the agenda for tonight.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a second. Okay, all of you in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed to that approval? Okay, that motion carries. Item D, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions, concerns? No? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any nays? Okay, the ayes have it. That also carries. Item number E, communication from Alder Galvin District 4 related to the number of meetings of the Landmarks Commission. I presume, Stephanie, this is yours.
Yes, I did put the communication in your packet, so you had a chance to review it ahead of time. I'm recommending this be referred to staff so I can take some time to see when our busiest season is, run it past our staff to make sure we have enough staff coverage for 2 meetings per month, and then also run it past all of you to make sure that that's an accommodation you all can make. Getting onto this commission, it was set for once per month, so I just want to do some background research before we commit to 2 times per month in the summer.
Stephanie, just a question. And this is part of me learning a little bit with this group as well. How many of the decisions does this group make that are binding versus what needs to be referred to council?
Nothing is referred to council for Landmarks Commission outside of nominations to the national or local register.
Okay. And the reason I ask is it'd be a moot point because council doesn't even meet that often, but okay. So knowing that helps. Thank you.
Stephanie, I don't understand the background behind this. When have we not been able to accommodate anybody that's come before this commission? We've held special meetings when we've tried to squeeze people in, and we've had a lot of months where there hasn't been anybody even bringing items forth. So where have we fallen down that somebody thinks we need to meet twice a month?
I don't think that we have. I think that it is the, you see the meeting deadline, maybe people aren't applying when they want to because they see when the deadline is. Every time that somebody has a request that is coming in that's, 3 to 4 weeks out from our Landmarks Commission meeting, I always offer them a special meeting. So it's up to them to take me up on that or not. And there hasn't been an instance in which we haven't been able to hold a special meeting. So, that's why I kind of want to dig into it a little bit. So maybe we can get some numbers to Galvin to say, I'm not sure this is warranted, or it's only warranted for May and June. So I want to make sure that we're really specific about it because I don't want to be having you guys, earmark your time when we're going to be canceling all these meetings anyway. So I just want to do a little bit more research.
Well, and I think as a part of your research, the question I would have is, are other committees within the city meeting twice a month, like, zoning and appeals, other types of committees that might be similar to ours that obviously are time sensitive for projects or things of that nature. Because I would advocate that we'd want to be consistent with those. But I'm just looking for what's the problem we're trying to solve here? That'd be my question.
Okay, I can definitely follow up with
If I could jump in here, Paul, your concerns absolutely are reflecting my own. I very much would like to know what problem this is solving, what this is addressing, because I'm very skeptical that this is necessary. If we look at just last month, 7 minutes. This month, we have got a single item that we're addressing. It seems that that's what happens is we have very few items. So I think to commit to any more meetings would be a burden on us that I just don't see being justified, but I certainly would let Alder Galvin substantiate the position. But at this point, I'm really skeptical this is necessary.
Yeah, I would like to echo that sentiment exactly the same. We have never not held a special session when we've needed to. And perhaps maybe we could change the wording on the application just slightly to say, like, if you're in a special time zone or, you need this done quickly, would you request a special meeting? And they could check a box, yes or no. Maybe we could put something like that on the application itself. But I agree. I don't see that any particular problem that this is addressing. We've always been there for them. So
I agree.
Okay.
And Ron, I like your idea of maybe communicating our availability a little better on the packet information.
Yeah, just a few words just to say that, to say that if a special meeting is needed because you're on a special timetable, let us know. Check this box and we'll contact you right away. Otherwise, why meet?
My fear of that is that everybody will check that box and we'll have not only every other week, but we'll have it every week, several times a week. And I think there are instances where we need to accommodate absolutely, but it doesn't seem to me that this is that much of a hardship that people, if they had the forethought of what they're doing, that and most of these are historic buildings, they've been around a while. If there's repairs needed, it didn't happen overnight.
Well, and based on the availability of the construction industry right now, the meetings of our commission are the least of the applicants' problems in terms of getting their projects done.
Yeah, well put. Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Granted, that'll change down the line, but still we could offer special meetings.
Well, Stephanie's already said, though, when she contacts them, if they need a special meeting, we've called it. So
Yeah.
I think we've gone full circle here.
So we're all pretty no on this, but I would still like the opportunity to dig into our past couple of years and make sure that we're not missing anything here, and just touch base with Elder Gallivan to make sure that if there are any concerns that he's been hearing from the community, that we're able to address those either by updating our process or updating our meeting schedule.
Yeah, I think, Stephanie, if you were able to document the average time between the time that somebody came in for an application and the actual meeting, that would answer a lot of questions, I think, or provide a lot of insight.
Okay.
So would anyone like to make a motion on what Stephanie just said?
Motion to receive and place on
do that,
file.
or I beg your pardon.
Yeah, do we need-
Brian, you said,
I would just make a motion to receive and place on file, and Stephanie can come back to us if she thinks she needs an action item.
okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
I,
Aye.
Anyone disagree with that point of view? Any nays? Okay, Stephanie, you can get back to us then.
Sounds
Motion
good.
carries, and you can get back to us on that order of business. Item F, regular business, consideration with possible action on request from the State Historic Preservation Office to review a nomination to the National Register of Historic Places, excuse me, for the property located at 1424 Admiral Court, also known as Mason Manor. Jason.
So as a certified local government, you, the Landmarks Commission for the City of Green Bay, will receive advance notice of any National Register nominations that have been prepared for properties within the city limits of the City of Green Bay. This happens to be the first such one where we were a CLG with the Landmarks Commission, that I'm aware of anyway. And it happens to be one that I wrote. So Mason Manor, built in 1972, you can see a picture of it here, I think, is, according to the State Historic Preservation Office, potentially eligible for listing in the National Register of Historic Places under social history. So the nomination paperwork that you have is available for your review, and if you'd like to comment as a Landmarks Commission on that nomination, saying whether or not you think it's worthy of National Register stuff, or if you catch me in an outright lie in the text, that's all something SHPO would like to know about. I know my architectural description in that nomination is very, very laborious to read through. I wouldn't recommend that you read it. The historic context is kind of interesting because in that I trace the history of how government has attempted to address the issue of the poor, if you will, from the mid-19th century to the present time. And in that you'll see a little bit of history about the county asylum, and then moving into some New Deal stuff, and then a nice discovery, if you will, about the Green Bay Housing Authority's first iteration immediately after World War II, which led to some houses being built on Green Bay's west side between 7th and 9th Streets, I think. And then finally, the current iteration of the Green Bay Housing Authority, which constructed this building in 1972. So I don't have a whole lot more to make you listen to unless you have questions.
Any questions, anybody? Any discussion?
I guess from a city perspective, a lot of times, obviously, when you put items on sort of the status, it can sometimes increase the cost to maintain. I'm just curious how that's going to impact the city. If in particular, if this is a facility that's designed to maybe service folks that are lower income, how is that expense going to get passed along? I mean, any kind of insight with general ongoing maintenance and how this might affect it.
Sure. There's a bit of a backstory there, and I don't know the entire rationale, but the city requested that we do this nomination. I suppose whatever firm it is that manages the building believes that this designation can help them to capture some tax credits for some rehabilitation of the building. They want to do some interior and perhaps exterior upgrades. So it's above my pay grade to question that. I was just tasked with writing the nomination. Somebody thinks it's going to be a benefit to the city. So that's all.
So I'm sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to interrupt. Isn't Mason Manor in play right now with a project for redevelopment? And is that the reason for this request?
Cheryl's got her hand up in the air for this answer. So go ahead, Cheryl.
We need a motion to open the floor or no?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Okay, let's open the floor here. Cheryl, go ahead. You can answer that question.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Renyer-Wig. Today, I am the Executive Director of the Green Bay Housing Authority, speaking to you and such. So Mason Manor is going through what HUD calls a RAD conversion, which is allowing public housing authorities to obtain some financing, which will allow them to do major renovation works on public housing. Cement built. It's a high rise. It's all concrete. It was very functional when it was built, and it's been maintained, but it's very dated. There are some things that we need to spend a lot of money on, including like our boilers, our generators, those basic things. In order to do that, we have to we're working with actually a developer. Gorman and Company is the developer working with us on this project. We've also hired Baker Tilly to advise us on and to help us work through this HUD process to obtain these tax credits. So we are applying for tax credits. We're going to apply for the 4% WIDA non-competitive, and then we'd hopefully like to get some historic tax credits as well, which will provide us the funding to do this remodel of this building. The residents they pay 30% of their income. That will not change after this remodel. So that will still be affordable housing after it's completed, but it'll be in much better shape. Does that help?
Cheryl, maybe just a follow-up question to that. Sometimes tax credits make sense. From my experience, more often than not, they don't, because they don't completely close the gap on the increased cost in materials. And just curious if, from your perspective, if you've done working with Gorman and or Baker Tilly, if you guys have kind of evaluated the cost versus benefit on that.
So Baker Tilly has done a full report for us on that. They're actually why we hired them, to make sure that, that we're going to get the money out of the project. Trent, our guy from Gorman, I thought was going to be at this meeting, who's actually working on our capital stack. I don't see him there, but this project won't happen if we don't use tax credits. It's really the only means for us to work through this HUD process with public housing authorities. Because we don't, as a housing authority, we don't have a lot of money to contribute to the project with private funds. So really the only way that these projects work for public housing conversions is if we use a tax credit.
Perfect. And of course, I don't mean to paint, a broad brush stroke, just so much as to imply every project's unique and different, right? And oftentimes when you get listed, the material cost is more than what the tax credit can close. right? And if you've done that analysis, I'm comfortable with that. So
Yep, we have.
And our recommendation here, though, is strictly just to provide the letter of support to SHPO to get the building nominated on that. It's not actually asking for any money or any tax credits there. It's just strictly to get the building nominated. Is that correct, Jason?
Yes. This is your opportunity to comment on the nomination.
yeah,
I
and the
would
reason,
support
Ron, I'm
that.
asking the question though, is if we do go through that process, we get nominated, we get placed, now there's new requirements. And I just want to make sure that we've done our diligence to understand the impact of that. So.
Oh, gotcha.
We've looked at window opening size. I mean, we've done kind of that, what can't we do if we have this designation? And really, the building, the way it's set up, it's brick, it's built pretty well. So I don't think there are many things that, I guess the remodel that we're doing is not changing of it at all. We're keeping the spiral entrance onto it, for example. We had considered possibly taking that off, which would have not been good then for this historical designation. But we've decided to keep that on there, partly due to cost, but also would allow us to apply for these tax credits. But
Somewhat related, Cheryl, is Monroe Plaza on your list too?
well, we don't own Monroe Plaza.
Oh, I thought you
but
did.
It's on a different list for me with a different hat.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I thought the Housing Authority owned that.
No. We own the Green Bay Housing Authority owns Mason Manor, and we own 48 units of scattered site housing throughout the city.
Okay.
Anyone else? Do we have a motion to close the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone against that? Okay, the motion carries. Floor is closed. Well, do we have any kind of a or what do you want to call it? Would anybody like to make a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed to that? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. All right, Jason.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Item G, number 1, staff level COA applications.
I think we had two. One of them was for a roof replacement, identical to what's there, just newer. And the other one is a chimney tear down and rebuild with existing material to match existing design. So here they are.
All righty. Where's that? Oh, I see it. Okay, there was the address. I got it. Okay. Number 2, review city raise repair orders.
Yes, we have two raised repair properties. First is 1208 Wirtz. That's fire and water damage. Here you can see the large blue tarp on the one side. Not sure what's going on inside, but it doesn't sound good. So, next one is 1643 Cass, which from the outside maybe not remarkable, but the raise repair order mentions damage to the roof, the floors, the ceilings, all having water damage, and then some electrical concerns.
Is that a vacant property?
I don't know.
Just curious. Okay.
I don't know. Nobody shot at me, so it was vacant enough, I suppose.
Okay, well, questions or comments, anyone? Item number 3, staff update.
I don't know that I have any.
I don't think I do either. We're just wrapping up, sending out the RFPs for our next phases of the intensive survey update, and also closing out the last survey one. So we do like 3 years all at one time. So we're closing out one right now by mid-September, and the RFPs are due back to us by September 1st or 2nd for the next phases. So that should be starting this fall.
Okay. Great, thank you. Item number 4, date of next meeting is Wednesday, September 21st. Stephanie, will you be providing us with that information then that you're digging into?
Yes, if it's substantial enough for any sort of action, I'll bring it back here. If not, I'll just follow up via email. But I'll be sure to talk to Alder Galvin first.
Okay, fair enough. Thank
I
you.
would just point out that there wasn't anything on today's agenda that required action that was time sensitive. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good observation, Brian.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to that? Have a nice evening, everybody.